Hi, hello. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel Dykhuis. I am a labor and delivery nurse by day, and all of the other hours of the day I'm pretty much reading. So I am gonna do a book haul. So I have a pile that's this high, and then a few others. So these are all the books that I have gotten in the last few months. I don't think I've hauled any of them. Please break for Mabel. So yeah, I thought I would do a book haul and just kind of go through these books before. None of these are ones that I've like discussed yet, or some of them I've read, but I haven't reviewed them yet. Without further ado, there's no plan or theme or anything to this, okay? So I just got this book in the mail, Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I honestly don't know anything about it. So it says, a hot one-night stand and unexpected pregnancy. I have just seen on TikTok that people like this one. So I feel like it has good reviews. So here it is. I don't know when I'll read it, but it's on the list. This is a April book of the month, All We Were Promised. So this is about 3 women of different circumstances in Philadelphia, pre-Civil War Philadelphia. And yeah, so historical fiction. I have Guild by Raven Kennedy. So this is meant to be a play on the King Midas tale. So our main character is Aurea, which AU, gold, you know, she's like locked in a cage for King Midas. So that's what I know. Well, I know more because I read it, but I'm not going to tell you more. Then I read Yours Truly, and I loved it so much, so I got the first in the series, Part of Your World. This was a May 2022 book of the month, but I got it as an add-on because I loved it. So I will be also reviewing that this month. Eva, stop. And then I kept seeing this all over the interwebs. So Big Swiss, our main character transcribes, sex therapy sessions. And then she falls in love with one of the people that she is listening to her therapy sessions. So this, like, the premise of it is great. It was a wild time. I don't know that I would like recommend it widely because it was weird. But if that sounds great to you, then you go for it. I would give it a 3.5. There were times that I laughed out loud. It just was a little weird. Yeah. Ashes of the Star-Cursed King. Stop it. The licking drives me crazy. Oh, it's so hot up here already. So this is the second of the Serpent and the Wings of Night. I loved the first one, so I pre-ordered this and read it almost immediately when it came. So this is just that continuation of that story. This is the third book in the Part of Your World, Yours Truly, so just for the summer. Also an August read. Says, when it comes to love, Emma is cursed. Every guy she dates finds his true love after they break up. And then she finds someone else that has the same condition. And they decide that they're going to date and break up so that they can find the loves of their lives. So that's the premise of that one. Then I have The Grandest Game. This is another in the Hawthorne game, or the Inheritance games. So the Hawthorne Legacy, etc. So there's like a primary, 3 books, and then the Hawthorne Brothers is kind of like a continuation, and then this is like what they're doing to give away the rest of their money. So The Grandest Game in this, I pre-ordered it because I love this series. There's another one coming out in November, but it looks like that's short stories, and then this is like a 1-part because it just like ends. So the next one I think comes out in like February. All right. This was just a Barnes & Noble. Like, I feel like it was like 50% off and I just did it, you know? So I know nothing about this. It's bad enough waking up in a half-destroyed evil wizard's workshop with no eyebrows, no memories, and no idea how long you have before the dreadlord whoever shows up to murder you horribly and then turn your skull into a goblet. It's a lot worse when you realize the dreadlord whomever is you. So that's what I know. It just kind of sounded fun. It had like these beautiful sprayed pages. It sounded fun, and it sounded like, like it would be a good like September, October read. All right. Binding 13 is another book that I feel like has kind of a cult following on like TikTok and the reels. So someone plays rugby, but then there's a new girl. The lonely girl becomes his only picture. I don't know. So I think it's just like teen romance. But I keep seeing this as like people's favorite books. Looking for more things, and honestly, like, there's a lot of mainstream romance that I'm just not in love with, so I'm looking to get off the beaten path. And then I got some backlogged book of the month. Well, this was an add-on for book of the month for me because I've seen this all over as people's like favorite books. All the Colors of the Dark. So this is 1975 is a time of change in America. The Vietnam War is ending. Muhammad Ali is fighting Joe Frazier. And in the small town of Montclair, Missouri, girls are disappearing. It's a thick one. But I've heard really good things. And then By Thread by Lucy Score. So, I wouldn't say she's like my favorite author, but I do feel like I have a good time with her books. She just loves a thick one. I don't know why they gotta be so thick, but so this is one that I heard is cute. So what do I know about it? Dominic was staring at me like he couldn't decide whether he loathed me or wanted to French kiss me. That sounds cute enough. And then this is Jennifer Lynn Barnes' other series, The Naturals. Other than like the Inheritance Game world, my sister has read this and said that she really liked it. And it looks like there's like 3 more in the series as well. So I just like how she writes because they're like more YA, but they move quickly. They are like, you get information, but there's always more questions. So it's just a fast moving book, and I love those. They're really good for like reading slumps or like beach reads. And then I just watched the Netflix series Good Girls Guide to Murder, and I love that series. So this is another, I think, series by Hallie Jackson, or maybe it's a standalone. Maybe just be a standalone. So it says 8 hours, 6 friends, 5 survive. They're on a road trip, their RV breaks down, and then there's 8 hours till dawn. Will they survive? I don't feel like I need to know much more. Like, that's part of the best thing about thrillers. And then this is one that I don't know where I even saw this, but it looked good. So it's The Great Divide by Christina Henriquez. And I know that it's about the construction on the Panama Canal. So, yeah, I just feel like that sounded good enough. And then when I read more about it, it just looked like it was going to be interesting. And the cover is gorgeous. So, I don't know why, but I feel like the Panama Canal is pretty interesting. So, the Sharon Says So book club will be reading James by Percival Everett. This has gotten like very acclaimed. And this is like a retelling of Huck Finn from like Jim's point of view. So it sounds like it's going to be really good. I don't think I would pick this up by myself, but I'm excited to read it. My Dark Romeo by Parker S. Huntington and L.J. Shen. This is another that is all over the interwebs, the book tax. So it was supposed to be a harmless kiss at a lavish debutante ball, a clandestine moment with a handsome stranger. But unlike his namesake, my Romeo isn't driven by love, he's fueled by revenge. To him, I'm a chess piece, leverage, his rival's betrothed. To him, he's a man deserving of poison, a dark prince I refuse to marry. He thinks I'll accept my fate while I plan to rewrite it. And in my story, Juliet doesn't die, but Romeo, he perishes. It just like looks nice too, because there's like black pages and white pages. And so I think it's My Dark Romeo and then My Dark Desire. I don't know if it's like the next book in the series or if it's like the same, but Beautiful. And then I have Outlive. So this is The Science and Art of Longevity by Peter Attia. So this is a book that my book club is reading in a few months. So I've gotten started on it because it's a little bit dense, but it still reads not on the medical level for sure. So yeah, this is the idea of medicine 3.0, and like, if instead of always reacting to diseases and waiting until you have it, what if we started doing things early, you know, like living healthy? So this was, yeah, recommended from book club, and so far I'm enjoying it. And I have Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. So she is the writer of The Dead Romantics and The 7-Year Slip, both of which I really enjoyed. So The 7-Year Slip was, I think, last year's novel, and the main character had, like, her aunt had an apartment that, like, sometimes you would go in and it would just, like, slip to 7 years after. So she, like, meets a guy, but they're, like, 7 years apart. So that was entertaining. So she writes, like, love stories that have, like, a weird twist that it's, like, it's not, like, full fantasy, but there's a weird, like, something's wrong with, like, time or something. And then The Dead Romantics, she's, like, in love with someone, but he's dead, I think is what it was. But yeah, I've enjoyed both of her books so far, so I'm looking forward to this one as well, which our main character, her car, like, stops on a road trip, and then she finds herself, like, in a town, but it's actually, like, she's in a novel. So I'll let you know, because I just started this last night. Then I have Wildfire, which is in the same, I don't think I've hauled this before. I have had it for a while because I think I bought it in the winter, and this is a summer book. So I'm going to try really hard to read this before it gets wintry. So this is by Hannah Grace. This is the same universe as Icebreaker, which is like a hockey romance that I read that I enjoyed. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad. So I've heard this is better, and I hope to read it soon. It feels like it's okay. At a party celebrating the end of the academic year, Maple Hill students Russ Callahan and Aurora Roberts have a passionate one-night stand. Never one to overstay her welcome, Aurora slips away, and then they both have jobs at a summer camp. Okay, love that. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This is a new, like, fantasy darling that I've been wanting to read, which I really don't know what it is about. Elspeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie, mist-locked kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her, he keeps her secrets, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. She's, a maiden must unleash the monster within to save her kingdom in this dark, lush, gothic fantasy debut. I think it looks good. The cover art alone is beautiful. And then I have been highly recommended to read this from my work friends. I've been told that it is very spicy, so don't just pick this up totally based on my recommendation. I have not read it yet. So yeah, Flock by Kate Stewart. And it says it's a modern day Robin Hood retelling that's steamy, intensely emotional, and utterly original. Okay, I'm in. And then I have Honey, which this is such a wild cover. So this is my June 2024 Book of the Month book. It's an addictive coming-of-age story that follows the meteoric rise of pop star Amber Young as she navigates fame and self-discovery in the late 90s, early 2000s. Brittany who? And then I did not select this for my Book of the Month, but I heard so many good things about it that I did this as an add-on later. So this is The Husbands. This was an April 2024 Book of the Month by Holly Gramazio. And so Lauren, like, when she's at home, she's greeted at the door by her husband, which she doesn't have a husband, but then, like, new ones keep coming out of her attic. So I guess she just has, like, different lives with these different husbands, and it feels like quirky and kind of like Una out of order, and, you know, like, again, like, something fantastical that's not fantasy. And I'm loving that right now. And then I have the much-awaited Apprentice to the Villain. I have already had 2 people ask to borrow this, and I just want to read it first. So you can read it after me. So this is the second book in the Assistant to the Villain book series. So Hannah Nicole Maurer, I think it's Maurer, I think she like self-published her book and then it started to pick up speed, and I've heard great things and bad things about it, but Assistant to the Villain was so funny. I loved it so much. It felt very like, kind of like Shrek, where you like take a fairy tale, but then you like kind of poke fun of it, and like you're just very humorous. So I loved it. I loved the characters. I loved what was happening. I loved the sexual tension. There's a frog that just holds signs up and says like help. And so he's on this little cover too with an uh-oh. So apparently she's been promoted to apprentice now instead of assistant, and I just think it's going to be a great time. And I don't know how many more there's going to be, but I love it. I think I'm going to love it. Another book that is a book of the month, The God of the Woods. This, I've heard such good things about this. So hoping to read this soon, by Liz Moore. This is, I think, Girls Are Going Missing. Yep. Early morning, August 1975, camp counselor discovers an empty bunk. So people are vanishing from a summer camp. I've heard good things about it. It sounds creepy. Perfect. And then I have Sure to Be a Favorite, The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. So this I got as an add-on book of the month. I thought I had pre-ordered this because I love her and I buy all of her books. They're like solid 5 or 4 stars for me. At least the ones from, this is, I think all the ones I've read, like Things You Save in a Fire, I think that might have been the first one I read. That was a book of the month. And so from then on, they're like 4 or 5 stars. But I feel like I read some back catalog and they were all good too. So what is, she's rewriting his love story, but can she rewrite her own? So she's a screenwriter. So she's rewriting a script for someone. I don't know. I don't really need to know about it. I know I'm going to love it. My friend like finished reading it in front of me at the pool and she said it was really good. And I probably could have read her copy, but I know that I will want it. So here it is. And then I have the rest of the Mistborn series. So Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. So there's like an original trilogy. I finished those. Those are like real thick, like epic fantasy. These I believe are in the same world, but like not at the same time. So I think I will probably read The Alloy of Law soon and then kind of see what the vibe is, if I make those a priority or not. My August book of the month was Hera. So this is about the goddess Hera. And when the immortal goddess Hera and her brother Zeus overthrow their tyrannical father, she dreams of ruling at his side. But as they establish their reign, Hera begins to see that Zeus is just as ruthless. So can she find a way to forge a better world? Honestly, like book of the month so rarely lets me down. So I feel like I can pretty much blindly choose. There's some like subject matter that I'm not super into all the time. But even if it's a book that I'm like, maybe I won't recommend it, it's not like a waste of time. So I just kind of blindly chose this one because there wasn't any that I really wanted to read last month. The Red Tent. I got this used from someone at work. This has actually been on my TBR for a really long time. So this is about Dinah. She is the daughter of Jacob and like the sister of like the 12 tribes brothers. So I feel like biblical fiction is an interesting concept. I normally like it. Okay, I think I'm to my last book, and it is Red Rising. So this is a book by Pierce Brown. I've heard such good things about this, and so I just bought a copy of it for myself. So Darrow is a red, a member of the lowest caste in the color-coded society of the future. Like his fellow Reds, he works all day believing that he and his people are making the surface of Mars livable for future generations. Yet he spends his life willingly, knowing that his blood and sweat will one day result in a better world. But Darrow and his kind have been betrayed. Soon he discovers that humanity already reached the surface generations ago. Vast cities and sprawling parks spread across the planet. Darrow and Reds like him are nothing more than slaves to a decadent ruling class. Ooh, okay. That sounds pretty good. that's the haul. It's too many books. It's too many. The good news is quite a few of those I've already read and we'll be reviewing in August. But there's still a lot more books that I want to read in August, and it's August 27. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go read. All right? And I will see you soon for a book unhaul, because I have a stack just as big of books that were okay, and I don't need them on my bookshelves anymore. So, see you soon.